lovers, the moon is a thing of beauty. But to this man it is a deadly curse. When the moon is full, this miserable wretch turns into a hairy, snarling half-man, half-beast that prowls the night, his fangs thirsty for human blood. He is a werewolf.
Hello and welcome to the Werewolf by Night podcast, the show where we talk about Marvel's #1 lycanthrope, Jack Russell, a.k.a. the Werewolf, a.k.a. the Beast, a.k.a. the Shaggy One, a.k.a. Mr. Russell Jackson. I'm your co-host, Matt Howell.
I'm your other host, Jacob Balcom.
Thanks for joining us this week, listeners. We're back for season 3 of the show. This is the final season of Werewolf by Night, so I'm buckled up. I'm ready to go. How about you, Jacob?
I can't wait. I'm so ready to talk about Marvel's #1 lycanthrope again. I was feeling kind of bad. I was feeling like we had betrayed Jack a little bit because we had so much fun last season talking about Manwolf and the Star God. So I'm glad to get back to this little fella.
Yeah, let's get back to our flawed little guy. see what he does, because John Jameson was pretty effective.
He was pretty effective, and
then he turned into a god.
Yeah, then he turned into an actual god. So it might be a little bit of whiplash going back to our completely depowered werewolf teenager.
Yeah,
but I was happy to see him again.
Yes, and so we've had a good little break. I got some time off. I got out on the river, did a guided rafting trip. Then you came and visited. We had a good time. Let's tell people about all the fun we had.
Oh, yeah, we had a really good time. So the first night we went and saw the restored version of David Lynch's Lost Highway at the historic Hollywood Theater. Friday night, we went and saw Tim Heidecker at the Aladdin Theater. He was doing the Two Tims tour. First show is him as his stand-up character. Second show is Tim Heidecker and the Very Good Band. And it was great. We had a really, really, really good time.
They were a very good band.
Yeah, they were a very good band. There was it was a really good show. I really enjoyed it. We were wondering, there was some kind of ruckus, some kind of rumble that was happening in the balcony that made Tim actually stop one of his songs and
security,
complain.
what the fuck is going on? And get them the fuck out of here.
So I was talking with Chris Matheson, who was also at the show. That happened in his row.
Oh,
up in the balcony. He said that it was basically what you would think. There were some people that were talking really loudly. A man who sounds like a giant had turned around and was angry at them for talking so loudly, which I get.
But giant being like a big booming voice?
Yeah, big booming voice. I guess he was pretty tall, pretty large, pretty bearded.
Okay, so like Hans Christian Andersen.
Yes, like an actual giant.
Okay.
And so, it was some little dudes picking fights with giants. Punches were thrown. Security never went up there.
Well, there's a giant.
Yeah, Chris just said it just kind of like spilled out to the outside finally once Tim had to call them out multiple times from the stage.
Jeez.
So I thought you'd want to get the backstory on that, because we were
wondering.
We were very, very curious. Then after that, the rest of the weekend, I did some recording on an EP that I'm making. So it was an amazing trip. Being stuck down here in Southern Oregon, it's not super fun. So I love that you and Renee host me and let me come up and sleep in your guest bedroom, which is quite nice.
And kiss my dog.
Oh, I love your dog so much.
In the way of the French. Allah. Don't say. Yeah, and you skipped over something that I thought was really special. We got to be on Marvel by the Month. And
of course, yes.
Go ahead. I mean,
no, you take this one.
Yeah, we got to go to the Baxter Annex, and it's probably the greatest single physical collection of printed bound comics I've ever seen.
Jesus Christ, man!
I go to like Excalibur Comics, and I'm like, yeah, but have you been to Brian's?
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, we were there to talk about Marvel Spotlight #2, the first appearance of Werewolf by Night, because they're in 1971 right now, so they're doing a monster themed one. And we also talked about Amazing Spider-Man number 102, which is the second part of Morbius's introduction. So when we showed up, there was a little 6-armed Spider-Man figure out and a Morbius figure. And, and we talked about Zimnu too. The second appearance of Zimnu, the first reprint, whatever you want to call him. The original Hulk, as well, which was reprinted in 71. So yeah, that was super fun. I had a great time talking to those guys.
It was so much fun. We brought drinks. We had a great time going over Jack Russell's first appearance. We played our Werewolf by Night drinking game with them. Yeah, you're right. I don't know why I didn't lead with this. I'm a selfish person because I had a amazing time there with Brian and Rob.
I thought you were leaving it for me.
I was kind of leaving it for you.
Just right there in front of the goal.
Yeah.
No goalie in sight. Like I can nail this.
And you did. You really did.
That was fun. Yeah. So that's out now. So if you don't listen to Marvel by the Month, what the hell are you doing? Even I'm listening now.
Yeah. And Matt doesn't listen to podcasts.
And I don't listen to comics
podcasts. Yes.
But I listen to that every episode now. So now I'm hooked. Damn it. So that's out now. By the time you hear this. And go support them on Patreon. We're on Patreon as well. If you want to go to patreon.com/werewolfbynightpodcast, there are several tiers you can do to get on the fun. You can throw us $1 a month. It's just a thank you, and you get some cool wallpapers for your phone and your computer. If you throw us $2 a month, you get access to the audio version of our bonus show, the $3 version or level of the Moon Beast. You get all that stuff. Plus, you can have access to a video version of our bonus show. And if you join us at the $5 level, Pack Brother or Pack Sister, you get all that, some extra goodies, in addition to a raw recording of the show if you prefer to see us and hear us unedited, warts and all. And and a video version of the bonus show. And you get a Pack Brother, Pack Sister shout out in the show and the bonus show. So check it out.
Why would you not?
Why wouldn't you? We also have a voicemail now. If you ducked out after season 1, you're like, I don't care about the Jamesons. They're pricks. And you're just back here for Jack Russell. We love to get voicemail now. You can always email us at the same place you always have, werewolfbynightpodcast@gmail.com. But you can also call us and leave a voicemail message at 971-220-5865. That's 971-220-JUNK. Call, leave us a message. Tell us what you're reading, what you're thinking about what we're reading, what you think about werewolves, what it's like being an actual werewolf, like the people who wrote letters in the first season.
Oh, man. It's weird. I kind of miss those people.
So, yeah. And if you somehow missed the trolley earlier and you're wondering why we're back and we're talking about the werewolf again, we are picking up where Jack's series left off. It was canceled after issue 43 when they tried to retool him as a superhero who had his intellect intact and could change at will, thanks to the three who are all giving him new powers. He went on an adventure in New York City with Tony Stark / Iron Man against the Triana Man, and he was canceled. And we're picking up where that left off. So he appeared in a lot of people's books, and we're ride or die with Jack Russell until the 1990s happens. As we said on the Marvel by the Month show, the 1990s is lava. I think that should be a whole section of our show where we just pick a random 90s comic and review it, like flash review it. And it's just called The 1990s is Lava.
That might be my favorite thing that you've ever said. I want that on a shirt. Because even though
is lava.
Yeah, because I grew up in the 80s and 90s, but I have zero nostalgia or love for terrible 90s comics. So sorry, Brad.
Yeah, I understand a lot of people grew up reading them. We grew up picking them up in the early to mid 80s. And that's when we were kind of, cutting our teeth, which is kind of a golden age as far as like not literal capital G golden age, but sophistication and storytelling coming up because of the Frank Millers and the other people that were changing the game. It was leaking. Even not everything was grim and gritty like Miller stuff, but like sophistication was coming into the storytelling. Alan Moore, Miller, people were changing things. So we get stories like Craven's Last Hunt and stuff like that. Just things that they're not reality bending, whatever, but it's just kind of like a level of sophistication and artistry in the writing that wasn't welcome, I think, in mainstream comics before.
Agreed.
So when the totally extremeness overtook good writing and art became just putting muscles on muscles on muscles and straps and pockets on muscles and guns on guns with lasers on guns. Like it got silly. So I mean, I liked Morbius and Werewolf by Night from the old stuff I picked up, and when I would open up Darkhold or Midnight Suns or whatever it was, I didn't recognize these characters. Morbius just looked like a incel masturbating goth kid, edgelord from his parents' basement who never got any sun.
Oh, the hottest it takes.
Jack Russell and whoever the fucking Hank or whatever the goddamn former Ghost Rider host was, they all were interchangeable. They all had strawberry blonde ponytails, cop sunglasses, 5 o'clock shadow, matches in their mouth like Cobretti. And we're riding motorcycles and wearing leather jackets. It was idiotic. And I could tell at the time I wanted to like it, but it was too much.
Too much. I know. We're putting some people off here, Matt.
Oh, we don't do that.
We're putting the young people off.
Oh, the kids. Yeah, that's not lit.
No.
We want to stay litty.
Yeah, come on now.
I just have to say it one more time and I can check the box. Matt said lit 3 times. That was lit. There.
Yeah. Very nice.
Cool. So we are jumping from when did Jack get canceled? When was 43? Was that 77?
I think so, yeah.
I think it was 77. So we are jumping ahead to should we just do it?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's get into this issue.
So we're reading, as you can tell by the title of this episode, Spider-Woman number 6, which has a cover date of September 1978. And this cover that we're looking at here has pencils by the great Carmine Infantino, and inks by Steve Leialoha, who I was not familiar with, but I really like this cover.
Oh man, yeah, his inks are great. So Steve worked at Marvel on pretty cool books like Star Wars, Warlock, Marvel Team Up, a bunch more. I think he's most famous for inking the DC book Fables. I think that's fair to say. That's probably his largest.
Like the Aughts series Fables?
Yes.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And but to me, he's most famous as being the partner of Trina Robbins.
Oh.
So, you know my feelings for Trina, so it makes me a little jealous. But yeah, it's okay.
Deep.
It's all right.
Yeah, so this is a rock solid cover here. Like I've been trying to think all day about how we're going to approach this season, because we're going to be jumping around people's books with decades of continuity going on, and we're going to be lost. So some of this is us going to be fumbling around, making mistakes. In this instance, I actually went back and looked on Hoopla, the library app, and saw that they had the first Spider-Woman masterwork on there. So I checked it out and read everything up through this issue. So I have read everything to date.
We're both ready.
Yeah, it was a lot though. I feel like I poured a gallon into a cup. So we'll see how it goes. But so if you don't know, I didn't know much about Spider-Woman outside of I remember Marvel kind of pushed her like around 1980 when the animated series was on for one brief period, like 3 months. It was on the air.
Yeah,
79 to like January of 80.
Yeah.
Which we're going to be talking about one of those episodes on the bonus show, by the way. It's called Dracula's Revenge. So Spider-Woman, Dracula's Revenge. Come on. If you're not a supporter of the show, you got to go check that out. So I remember her being around a bit, but like not really ever reading her. And I honestly didn't know that much about her until Bendis fell in love with her and put her in every goddamn thing he did for like 10 years.
Yeah, but I never complained when he did.
No, I like her.
He made her very cool. But yeah, I needed reminding of her origin as well. So I did the same thing. I went back and read issues 1 through 5 just to give me a little bit of context, because people, if you're jumping in on issue 6, you're going to be a little confused. I'm not going to lie.
So I'm not committing to doing this the entire season, but I did it this time because I actually wanted to know. And I knew that Spider-Woman started kind of supernatural with supernatural overtones and kind of worked its way out a bit, but became a straight kind of superhero book with, an arch enemy gypsy moth and that kind of stuff. A little more straight, but it started off with some kind of magic things in it. And this is right smack in the middle of that, I believe. Did you not read the 2-in-1 saga with her in London with Ben?
No, I didn't. I didn't read that one. No, okay. I just read issues 1 through 5, but they had recaps of that. Okay.
Yeah, it was a lot of Ben Grimm that I read in like one day.
Oof.
A lot of Yancey Street dialect, and he cried like 3 times in one issue.
He loves to cry.
Okay, granted, Alicia got turned into a giant spider creature that was very horrifying. But come on,
that does suck.
Come on, bro, suck it up. You're in the 4.
You're in the 4.
The backstory on her is that Marvel caught wind that Filmation was making a animated series called Spider-Woman, and they felt that was encroaching on their grounds. So Stan said, "Hey, somebody whip together a Spider-Woman thing and just get the trademark down." So that's what Marvel Premiere 32 was? The premiere?
I think so, yeah.
And so Marv Wolfman wrote that kind of as an order. I felt kind of short and rushed. He felt like he was just kind of throwing stuff in. And she's a very different character. She is a force-evolved spider by the High Evolutionary. And so she's literally a spider that has been brainwashed by Hydra to kill Nick Fury in her first appearance. Mm-hmm. And then the Marvel 2-in-1 saga, which I believe is like 6 or 7 issues, shows Wolfman kind of developing her a little bit and kind of playing with her and trying to figure out what to do with her. And then it's revealed that she's not, in fact, a spider that was force evolved. She was poisoned by uranium in what would become Wundagore, and she was dying. And they found out that the spider serum or something like that somehow would protect against radiation. So they injected her with it, and she lived and got some spider powers. And then her dad died, and then his partner became the High Evolutionary, and then a bunch of weird shit happens that we don't see.
Yep, pretty much. No, I think the High Evolutionary was in that mix because he had to like quickly evolve the spider serum because it was going to take too long to take effect. So he's in the mix at the very beginning. But then yeah, she's kind of in stasis until she's an adult, basically.
Yeah, and she alludes in some comics like that she has met someone like Jack before in Wundagore that was called like Lycris, who is a force-evolved wolf.
That's right. I think that's I can't remember what that's from, but
that was just her. Like, there's no issue. It didn't happen. She's just saying, I grew up in Wundagore and I know Lycris. Like, she just, that's what I'm saying. A bunch of her adventures in Wundagore or whatever are off screen, essentially.
Oh, that's great.
Which is kind of strange, which is maybe why they went back and did that secret Spider-Woman Origins. Remember that miniseries like around?
Of course.
Yeah. Anyway, at this point, she has left London. There's a guy named Jerry Hunt who met her and fell in love with her. One thing I did not remember about her was that she exudes a pheromone that makes people repelled by her.
Isn't that so weird? Reading the first issue, like when she's in London and she's just like trying to get a room or a job and everyone's like, you freak my shit out.
Yeah.
Like no one even wants to be in the same room as her. I thought that was such a weird story choice.
Yeah. Except for this guy, Jerry Hunt, who works for Scotland Yard, but we find out later he's actually on loan from S.H.I.E.L.D.
Well, didn't he get like is it because of the blood like he got a blood transfusion from her, right?
In this story?
Like in this series, I thought.
I don't think so. I think in issue 1, he literally just says there's something about her. Like I think that Wolfman was just planting a seed, something to come back to.
Yeah, but he's creepy. He's just 100% creepy the entire series so far.
Yeah. One of the big changes from the earlier appearances to issue 1 is that Wolfman realized that Infantino draws women's hair beautifully, and it was stupid to have her wear a cap like Spider-Man does. So she tore it off and dyed her blonde hair, black to disguise herself to the authorities because she was spotted. Not doing anything wrong. She wasn't stealing anything. She was just checking some shit out. But so now she has these beautiful locks that are a trademark part of her costume almost.
Yeah, it's very, very, very cool. And you're right. Infantino, he draws women beautifully, draws hair beautifully. I mean, I don't think it's spoiling anything to say that you and I love Infantino and are really excited to talk about an issue where he does the art.
Yeah, I will say, I'm glad that you read some of the earlier stuff because I thought his art in this issue was markedly different than the things he was doing in the months prior to this, in this title.
Yeah, but also Tony DeZuniga is inking before. This is Rick Bryant's first ink, I think. Mm-hmm. And he's different. I don't know. I mean,
I don't see how some of that's inks. Like some of it's almost like there's like an ElfQuest kind of compressed, like everyone's a little shorter, a little squatter, and a little more kind of like flourishy. I didn't even know how to describe it. Like the first time I flipped this issue, I was like, oh God, who did these pencils? And I was like, Infantino.
Yeah.
And then I was like, well, I'm going to hate reading all these getting up to where we're reading it, but I will. And I was like, oh, this looks great. Oh, it's Zuniga. Great.
Yeah.
And then I got here and I was like, yep, it's still weird.
It's weird. I mean, I was glad. I think the cover is probably the best thing about this issue by far. Yeah.
There's two really great pages in here.
There's a couple great pages. And I don't know. You're right. I feel like Zuniga's inks served Infantino's pencils a lot better in this time, even though I do like Rick Bryant. So let's are we done with the cover? Should we move on?
No, okay. I'm sorry. So that was a long aside to say. The cover says, to know her is to fear her, which was the header or whatever on everything. The Spider-Woman, and then it says, is helpless before the mindless rampage of, and there's our logo, Werewolf by Night. And we have a awesome solid black background. So we're inside of a room. There's an open window. And because the werewolf is coming through it, it's almost like he brings his own backgrounds. He brought his own European shingled roof to show the yes, I am a European style wolfman. Yeah. And he's coming through with an open window with a full moon, and he's lunging towards Spider-Woman, who is in the foreground, tied to a chair and gagged, and her hair is wisping all around in like a bullwhip, and it's fucking gorgeous.
Yeah, it's such a cool cover, and but weird in a way. Like this is very reminiscent to me of like the Jeff Johns covers of Wonder Woman from the early 70s. There were a lot of like kind of, Dark House of Mystery bondage type covers that he did.
Jeff Johns?
Not Jones. Jeff Jones, I think. Yes. Yeah, the artist. And yeah, so it reminded me a lot of that, but the art is beautiful on this. But Matt, would you say that this scene happens in the comic?
I would not. So
I would not either. So cheers.
Old drinking rules apply.
Yep.
So tonight I'm having, because we're going back to our roots with Jack Russell, I'm having the first werewolf cocktail drink that I looked up when we started season 1, which is just called Werewolf Cocktail. And it is equal parts bourbon and Drambuie. And it's supposed to be shaken with ice and strained into a highball glass. I just put it into a, what is this again? Old-fashioned glass?
Yeah.
And with a giant ice cube. And 1-to-1 is not good. Drambuie is too sweet, too herbally, too floral, whatever the hell it is. So yeah, I think the Buck Cowan that we invented with Ben M's help is a much better cocktail. So I'll probably fall back on that. Drambuie is good for a hint. It's like Kramer, right? You don't want him to have his own show. Great when he comes in and breaks shit up.
Yeah, you think it's a good idea, but then once you see it or try it, no, it's not. Kramer doesn't need his own show.
It's not. What are you having?
I'm drinking Negronis tonight. They are hitting the spot because it is hot as fuck.
Yeah.
All right, let's jump to our opening page. So our cast of creators for this issue are Marv Wolfman, writer, Carmine Infantino, pencils, Rick Bryant, inks, John Costanza, letters, and Bob Sharon, colors. And we're familiar with most of these people, at least the letters, colors, writer. I don't think you and I have done an issue where Carmine Infantino is the penciler.
No. And I've just told you how much I love Golden Age or Silver Age Flash. It's one of my favorite superhero comic books.
Well, yeah, for people who don't know, I mean, Carmine Infantino is a fucking legend, like an actual legend of the comics industry. Probably, I'd even put him in top 5 all-time comic creators, honestly. And one of his greatest things that he did was co-creating the Silver Age Flash in 1956, which I think is considered the first comic of the Silver Age, officially. That's it.
It kickstarted the entire
superhero revival.
I mean, it's considered the Silver Age, first issue of the Silver Age. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm agreeing with you in a very spluttery, weird way.
Yes. No, it's an extremely important issue. And he also drew the Flash of Two Worlds story, which is one of my favorite comic stories of all time.
Effectively creating the multiverse.
Absolutely creating the multiverse. And but God, he has such an illustrious career. He worked for Marvel at the very end of his career. But funny, his very first comics credit is for Marvel in 1942. He did the art for USA Comics #3, inking a Jack Frost story over Frank Giacoia pencils. So kind of badass.
I read that somewhere. In the Masterworks, Wolfman had a very lengthy intro, and he was talking about Infantino a bit. And yeah, I forgotten Giacoya was that old until I read that. I was like, that's right, he was.
Yeah, Giacoya was there in 39 or 40. You know, he's there
clay tablets.
He is. Yeah, he's as early as it gets, honestly. And it's funny. Jack Frost was basically Iceman.
Okay.
But just kind of looked like your typical Jack Frost, but was basically a proto Iceman. But so he was a really, really great artist, worked for a long time. By the late 60s, he had started to move into editorial. By 1970, I think he was instrumental in stealing Kirby from Marvel. I'm pretty sure about that. And he later became publisher of the entire company in early 71. DC, that is. And he but in 1976, Warner Brothers, DC's parent company, even back then, replaced him with Jeanette Kahn, who was a young gun editor, did a lot of cool shit, but she was not popular at first. She came from a kids magazine. She was editor of Dynamite and some other kids magazines.
Wow. I had not thought of Dynamite in 30 years.
I know. But, I think Jeanette Kahn's really cool. I mean, she did a lot of really cool shit. She shook shit up, though, and she got rid of a lot of old timers. So, there's that. But
I like Deadwood.
Yeah, Deadwood is fun for a while. My only problem with Jeanette Kahn is she hated reprints. And my favorite things on Earth are the DC 100-page super spectaculars, and those are mostly reprints. But I just love how they're curated. I loved it when E. Nelson Bridwell would curate them. They're like an amazing mixtape.
They had amazing value back then.
Oh, God.
Nowadays they're anathema, right? I mean, there's apps that have 30,000 comics, so why would you ever reprint something? People get offended now.
Yes, yeah, exactly. But no, so that was my only real philosophical beef with Jeanette Kahn. She did lots of really cool shit. But yeah, Carmine was a little put out and went over to Marvel and started drawing titles. He was on very successful titles. He drew a lot of Star Wars. He drew some issues of Daredevil, and he drew a lot of issues of Spider-Woman.
So he lived to 2003 or something, right? Or 2000? Okay.
Yeah, no, he lived to be a very old age, and he did lots of really, really cool shit. So his inker this issue, Rick Bryant, which we'd already talked about, is much different than Tony DeZuniga. But I still think he has, I don't know, he reminds me of kind of like when Tom Palmer would ink someone else. Mm-hmm. It's rough, and Infantino's not a rough artist. His lines are as clean as they fucking come.
Yep.
So I think that I don't know. I don't think it's as good of a mix as Carmine and Tony DeZuniga, but I liked the kind of scratchiness of this in a way. It was a little uneven, but
I felt that considering the subject matter of this issue, it served it.
I agree.
In a way that we'll talk about as we go on. So I found it off-putting at first, but in the scope of the series to date, it was it kind of makes sense.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. I think this is Rick Bryant's only issue of Spider-Woman, weirdly enough. And I didn't find too much out about him online. There's not a ton. His biggest gig seems to be inking about 20 issues of Shade the Changing Man in the mid-90s. That seemed to be his big
Who was
gig.
that, Milligan that wrote that? Or
Yeah, I think it was Milligan, but it's Chris Bacalo, I think is how you
sorry, the pencils were... Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, pencils.
That's one of those titles I associate with the writer more than the artist. You're right. That was
and not a lot online about him. But yeah, I feel like I agree with you. And we'll talk about it as the issue goes on. That I feel like his inks really serve the story quite well.
Cool.
So the title of our story is "End of a Nightmare," and the opening narration reads, "The memories fading with every passing moment. Even now, most of what happened to me is unclear, yet the horror of it still bristles my neck hairs. The shimmering, floating female is Morgan Le Fay, or at least an astral image of King Arthur's sorceress sister. The black-haired beauty in red is the dark angel called Spider-Woman. And me, my name is Jack Russell, and I suffer from a peculiar affliction. 3 times each month, my sanity leaves me, and I become a growling, mindless werewolf by night. I wanted to read all of that because we are back to a first person narration in the future, talking back. So it's a classic Werewolf by Night.
Honestly, my first note for this page was Jack narrating ... We're home, Chewie.
Yeah, exactly. I read this
this
narration
so
and I was like,
nice.
oh my God. Yeah, this is actually great. I mean, Jack's not a huge part of this issue. I'll just say right at the
No.
top. But we do get a couple of our drinking game tropes. We get first person narration through the whole damn thing. So I'm happy about that. And yeah, so this whole page is kind of like Jack was saying, it's a spectral version of Morgan Le Fay with some really great kind of purple hair. Infantino does great hair. There's some troll looking barbarians that are behind her. And she says, your time on Earth has run out. Now Morgan Le Fay rules supreme. And Spider-Woman and tied up Magnus, as we'll find out, is at the bottom right-hand corner of the page.
Pretty killer splash page, in my opinion.
It is.
So, I promise, folks, we are not going to do these deep dives on every book that we're talking about with Jack in it. But the issue preceding this one is particularly, it's a cliffhanger picking up from the last issue. But it was the Hangman. I mean, it's a Wolfman character that he wanted to bring. And it makes so much more sense to have a female character dealing with the Hangman than a male character. Like in the, 70s, women's lib 70s, like this jackass, whatever. So at any rate, she was investigating the death of her father and she encounters the Hangman and he knocks her out and ties her up and drags her off to this old mansion on a hill. And these green flames come out of the fireplace. It was a very trippy issue. It was very much like the Marcosa House saga, actually. Did you read that one that came before this? It was really
absolutely
weird like that, in a good way.
Super weird.
But these green flames come out of the fire, and then Morgan Le Fay's astral form and her minion guys come out, and that's where this starts. I love these weird people she summoned. Like, I love it's a total fucking metal van mural. Like, these guys have blindfolds on and battle axes and Morningstar maces. So it's just the suggestion of these blindfolds on, she has blinded them so she can more fully control them. They're just pawns for her to do magic on and just wield, right? It just, I don't know. I was totally entranced by this, and I like her dress.
No, it's an awesome page. Yeah, I thought those guys were straight off of a Molly Hatchet album cover.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, yeah, it was. This is a great opening page.
Cool. And I labored under the illusion that Magnus was Merlin until I read the next issue.
He's not.
So yeah, he's very much seems okay. So the strange art that I was talking about on page 2 kicks up right here in the beginning, where it almost looks like there's a Photoshop just using the skew tool. Everything's just a little bent and twisted. But now that you know that Jack Russell is narrating this, you may not know this yet, but he's not conscious for most of the thing. I'm one of those old-fashioned guys. I like my narrator to be conscious for more than 5 minutes of the adventure, but that's just me.
You're such an old fuddy-duddy.
So he is confronting Morgan Le Fay, and he immediately says, "You're not getting the book." And of course, my hackles raise. I know what this is about, right? And she
We're
says,
no dummies.
I failed in the past because our struggle was between the two of us, but no more. This time a third party is involved. This time I shall strike where you are helpless through your love for another, which is Jessica Drew, because they have bonded. They met in London, traveled to America together. They've got a room in a boarding house. And so she's using her as a tool against him to help her get the Darkhold. And Jessica doesn't need any help. She starts doing some venom blasts against these things, but they're not flesh and blood. They're astral forms as well. So her venom blasts are very bio-focused, they're neurological. So they do nothing to these guys. This battle kind of continues, but I thought this was awesome that the Darkhold comes in. I mean, of course, that's why Jack's here, but I was suffering on the delusion that the Darkhold had been destroyed when Elfric had Father Joaquin. I thought it was destroyed in that story, but I dug up something and it's that was a version that his father had copied down and transcribed. And it's it's like a bootleg. It's like a sex tape. It's like Hank's sex tape from Larry Sanders' show. Once it gets out there, it's like an Ebola fucking virus. It's just spreading. So, but this is one of the only known ones on Earth at this point in time is in Jack's mind, which I thought was a cool.
Yeah, which we'll find out later on. Which I thought it was that's such a funny thing. Yeah, this issue's cool, but you're right. The faces being so like scrunched up in a funny way. Like yeah, it was a little strange.
Oh, another thing I want to mention, that in the last issue, when there's a scuffle between, I think, Hangman and Spider Woman, a bunch of books go flying, and there's one that says Lovecraft on the spine, one that says Cthulhu, and one that says Necronomicon. So
I know.
this was kind of telegraphed by Wolfman last issue.
Yeah, it totally was. So on the next page, Jessica is fighting vainly against these demons. And yeah, on those bottom panels, Morgan tells Magnus that if he tells her where the book is, she will stop the demons. And then she says, just dispatch your female, have her bring the book to me. And Jess says, must I, Magnus? And he says, my dear, please go and do not worry. So I did kind of love those bottom three panels. I like the weird like green Zipatone backgrounds, and the faces are a little more normal there. I don't know. Yeah, this page is cool, but not a ton happens on it.
So I thought it was cool that Infantino and Bryant seem to consistently throughout this thing, whenever there's like a close-up or a medium shot of Morgan Le Fay, she has almost like serpent eyes, like the cat right? slits, which I thought was a cool touch. Yeah, like you were saying, they kind of settled these the wispy kind of loose pencil style and reined it in a little bit with the anatomy. But yeah, I guess so. We've been kind of tipping our hand here, but you know, Jack's narrating this. He's not even here yet. So I thought it was kind of like a cool, maybe an artistic touch of like, this is him talking to someone later or whatever, recalling this, you know, however he does it. I mean, he basically at one point just says, it's magic, man. I don't know how I knew what I knew. Like, yeah,
I mean, it's a really funny joke a few pages from now to where he actually like in almost a meta way, like is telling you that, yeah, he's like, I know I wasn't here for this, but don't worry about it. Like, yeah, it's really funny.
So in my mind, like some of this drastic art change what comes in with Bryant inking Infantino was almost like I'm piecing it together. This is a recollection of something that I didn't experience. So it just felt kind of natural once I read it. But at first it was off-putting to me. He sends her to go get the book and he just kind of implants the thought in her head, right? Like this is, I'll tell you where to go mentally. He's bound and tied up. He's a prisoner of Morgan Le Fay while she's taking off. And he sends off a little magical tendril of power out of his temple that Morgan doesn't see, but it goes flying to where that SHIELD agent Jerry Hunt is and implants in his head a thought. And his eyes go blank, and he is automatically like a pawn of Magnus.
That's right. So
so just in case people think I'm dumb because of the Merlin thing, he had hair down to like below his ass, like till last issue.
Till last issue
when he came to the States. So he had a beard down to his balls and a hair down past like to his knees. So
yeah, and he had a name. No, he had a name that started with M. So I knew there was going to be a big like I'm Merlin reveal, but nope.
And there was a story where a guy was named Excalibur that was sent to attack Jessica.
That was attacking Jess with Excalibur.
Yes.
So, and then there's Morgan Le Fay. So why would you not assume that this guy's Merlin? But he's not. And they changed
the name ER to UR throughout the entire book, which drove me fucking bananas.
Yep, that's right.
Okay.
So on the next page, we see Jerry Hunt. He just like stands immediately up. He's like, I've got to go. And he realizes Magnus has telepathically put the location of Jessica in his brain. So he's telling his buddy, he's like, Ben, don't ask me how, but I know where she is. And so, I like this guy's like, sure, good luck, Jerry. Like he's not even getting out of his seat.
I like that he was downtown going through the mugshot books, just looking for Jessica because he saw her for one split second weeks ago in London.
And decides he's in love with her. He's a fucking psycho.
It's a little weird.
It's so weird.
It sounds weird, but then when you meet someone like I have, and that happens, Jacob,
it's magic.
All the music fades down. All the chatter goes away. Color desaturates. And it's just you and her, man. You're doing the dance. She's trying to get away, and you're just loving her so much. You just got to let her know, you know. You got to show her that she loves you. And follow her to America.
You were meant to play Jerry Hunt in my fan film.
I am Jerry Hunt.
You are Jerry Hunt. So
my birth name is Harry Junt.
Harry Junt, nice. So here it is on the next panel. It's that narration that we were talking about. So after Jerry leaves, looking at mugshots, the next narration says, "Please don't ask how I know what had already happened. I just do or did." So of all this stuff that Jack was nowhere near, because he's only conscious for just barely any amount of time. So he should really only remember certain things. But okay, but this I'm burying the lead here because something very exciting is about to happen.
It is.
So the narration reads, "But as my memory fades, the story finally comes round to where I entered the scene, I being my hirsute self. Spider-Woman was floating somewhere outside Colden House, the singles apartment I parked my butt in. He's back at Colden House."
Was he not kicked out?
He was totally kicked out, but they let him back in. Well, because, wait, didn't like a golem come and destroy half of Colden House?
Behemoth.
The behemoth came.
Tore walls out.
Tore walls out. And Jack was kicked out because he not like destroyed his apartment like, oh, I'm a dirty teenage kid. I kind of left shit around. No, he literally destroyed the apartment.
Like Animal House.
Yeah. But somehow they let him back in. I mean, he is charming and he does have money. So, I'm sure that didn't hurt.
Yep.
But I was very excited. I was really excited to have that reference. And so, yeah, we see that Jess busts into Jack's apartment and finds Jack shackled to his wall. And he says, "Get out, whoever you are, get out. I'm warning you, your life is in danger." So, I was pretty proud of Jack.
Yeah.
So he's all grown up. He's actually being responsible. He's taking preventative measures. So normally we would be taking a drink, but I don't think we can at this point.
I'm actually spitting up into my glass as a reverse drink.
You're right. For when he actually goes against the tropes, we regurgitate our drink.
No, but he hasn't grown up so much that he's thought to take off his designer shirt before he turns into a werewolf. He's still destroying clothes every single time because he's a rich kid.
Yeah, he's a fucking rich kid. He doesn't give a shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but Jess says, "I'm here for you, Jack Russell, and nothing, not even these chains can keep you from me." And so she busts the chains. He says, "Who are you? What do you want?" He says, "Oh no, it's beginning, lady. Please, for your sake, get out of here. Get out." So we know from the previous panels that it's a full moon, so we know what's about to happen.
Yeah. We also know from the last time we saw him that he has complete control over the changes and his mind intact when he does change. So we're in kind of a weird limbo here, storytelling wise. Something has changed in the last year since we saw him that we don't know yet.
Yeah, but Marv Wolfman has, I think he just reverted because he only knows Mindless Jack. So he's just like, fuck that. I'm not doing that. I'm going back to Mindless Jack.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was writing this book 3 years ago.
Yeah. Fuck you, young kids.
Nothing happened since I left.
Yeah.
So the next page we get, this is like my second favorite full page. It's not like completely as dynamite as my favorite page, but we get a transformation on the top. Again, this is not top-notch stuff. It's not revolutionary. It's not Plugian. It's not even Perlinian. But we have 3 characters left to right. Jack with his shirt in shreds. And there's a connective tissue of cotton between the 3 characters. In the middle, he's kind of like putting his head down into his hands as he's changing. And then on the right, he is fully the werewolf. And they're all connected by shirt tatters, which is kind of an interesting thing. And we get another throwback. It was my first night. Twice more this month, this hideous manifestation would occur. I was a mindless brute, sensing only an enemy lurking in the darkness. Savagely, I lashed out. And he charges at Jessica, and she cold cocks him in the face. And he grabs her by the throat and chokes her out.
Yeah, it is an intense page, but art-wise, I think I was just excited. I mean, this is the most Jack we get in the entire issue, pretty much.
Well, unless you count Z's.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. I really like that top panel transformation. I know it's not revolutionary, but I posted this on our Instagram, like in the first season after our Werewolf Wednesday, I thought, or one of those things. I think you did.
Because I recognized it.
Yeah, I love this transformation. I know it's not top notch, but the connective tissue of the actual shirt tatters, and I also just really like how Infantino draws the beast.
I do like the way he draws the beast quite a bit.
So good.
I just want nipples, I mean, free the wolf nipple.
All right.
Where do they go?
You're a big Batman and Robin fan, I guess.
The film?
Yeah, the film.
The capital F film? Yes.
The capital F film. I think I last saw it on Criterion Channel.
And there's a trend throughout this issue of solid color backgrounds here. And we've talked a lot about when they work and when they don't work, when they're a shortcut and when they're an exclamation point. And I think they're an exclamation point here. I agree. These solid greens, these solid blues. I think they're really, they really make the action stand out.
Yeah, I agree. I really love the art on that page. I was jealous you got that page.
Yeah, well.
Yeah. So on the next one, Jack jumps off the balcony, and the narration says it was the werewolf's nature to seek freedom, to find a place to roam unfettered from the harsh stench of civilization. The forest. The one at the edge of town would calm his wild rage. Let's drink to the forest.
To Elmore National Forest. We named the forest that he longs for, that Brad Elmore, frequent guest, friend of the show, said does not exist in LA.
Yeah.
So we named it Elmore Forest. So he's longing for it. God, I miss this. I missed having a drink for this stuff.
Yeah, I know. I'm having 2 drinks.
I never get a chance to drink.
I'd like to think that the Elmore National Forest is 616 canon now. I mean, that's just continuity.
We'll see what we can do. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's talk to Tom Brevoort. He knows the Marvel by the Month guys, right?
We're like 1 degree separated from
We are 1 degree separated from him. All right. So Jess follows him, wondering if her venom blast will work on a werewolf. And this is when, look though, so there's an editorial note, but not an actual issue for that. Okay. She says, perhaps my venom blast, it worked on Lycris when he and I fought in Wundagore. Sure, this didn't happen.
I've read every appearance of her to this point.
Okay.
That is listed.
Because there is a editorial note. There's an asterisk. You follow it down. It says, Wundagore, the creation of the high evolutionary who evolved animals and almost human intelligence. Lycris was an evolved wolf.
But it's nothing like they fought in Wundagore and Lycris was. It's literally just saying this is what these terms mean. It's not saying this happened.
That's crazy.
Isn't that weird?
I like how, but it's funny that Marv is writer and editor. He's giving editorial notes to himself.
I didn't even think about that.
There's something really funny about that. And so, yeah, weirdly enough, on the bottom panel, we have Jack yanking a woman out of her car, which he doesn't normally attack humans unprovoked, but I guess it says in the narration that she had the gall to drive a car near him that shone its headlights, and so he took that as a threat, and he's yanking her out of the car, and it looks like he's just about to eviscerate her.
He doesn't like the shiny lights. Remember Paris? Well,
at the Orly airport, he really didn't like the shiny lights.
Yeah, I love that he's yanking her out like Grand Theft Auto, but
Yes.
He can't drive.
No.
The only time he can drive is when he starts off human and turns into a werewolf. So he was just pissed off that the shiny lights hurt his eyes.
Yes.
I love that.
He's lashing out. He's a child.
I know that he makes Man-Wolf look really sophisticated, but I kind of miss this just raw Tasmanian devil horseshit that he does.
Yeah, I know. This issue was a warm bath.
So this next page is my very favorite one. I would love to have the original art for this. So he's savagely growling and whatever, and Spider-Woman comes up and gives him a venom blast. It shocks him, and we get this cool panel where it says he screamed as her deadly poison seared its way through werewolf's consciousness and into me, his inner soul. And we see the werewolf falling back and growling, and a projection, an astral projection of Jack Russell inside of him, even feeling that pain. So it goes through the consciousness into the human host, essentially, of the wolf. And he's feeling the pain. And then there's this funny kind of I love when people make fun of stars. So there's this whole this has to be a stunt for a movie. And blah, blah. And it's like, hey, are you Ms. Marvel? I heard about you. And like, she's not talking to us. She's stuck up. Like, I heard that the Bionic Woman gets $20,000 an episode. And like, well, if I was that rich, I'd be a bitch too. This whole weird little banter from all the schmucks walking around LA. Meanwhile,
so weird.
She has picked up the unconscious beast's form, and she's carrying him off back to where she's supposed to take him, because he is, in essence, the holder of the Darkhold for all intents and purposes right now.
Yeah, what a cool page. I love how Jessica looks. I love that panel of Jack in his beast form with his astral real form above him. Like it's just killer. And the fur tracks as well. Like the fur looks great, and we know we're going back. I love that we're going back to all of our first season metrics, to where if the fur looks good, it's a good page. So
and
it's
our friend Amy Carroll, that's been on the show. I can guarantee you on that middle right panel, she would say, "Oh, she has 70s boobs."
Yeah.
I love Amy, and I know if you're listening, Amy, I heard your voice saying that when I read this.
You're so true. Oh man, that's great.
One of those things that needs no definition. You know what it means when you hear it the first time, but you can't really define it. Oh, she's got 70s boobs.
That's great. All right, so on the next page, Spider-Woman flies off with Jack and brings him straight to Morgan Le Fay, where we finally learn that she's after the Darkhold. So she says, "This creature has the book. If you were lying to me, you'll..." And then Magnus says, "He doesn't have the book, Morgan, but he has read the Darkhold, and its memory still lingers in his mind." So in Jack's like half teenage, half werewolf mind, enough of the Darkhold is stored in those weird little crystal cells or whatever is in his bizarre brain.
Well, isn't it that the same way that his father read about the lycanthropy stuff and he became a lycanthrope just because of the power of the magic of the book?
That's
I thought
true.
Just like reading it changed you. Like the same way that in Lovecraft, like reading a forbidden text can make you go mad. I thought
that's a good point.
It changed who you are on a whatever base level.
That's a good point. So like the Darkhold's writings are written on every cell in your body.
Like it's just a part of his being.
Cool. Okay, I like that. And so but Morgan Le Fay decides that she says, "Then I shall simply remove his mind, get what I need, and leave him an empty husk." So her plan is to like a vacuum cleaner, just suck Jack's mind out, read the Darkhold, and discard his consciousness. And so in the final panel, we realize that Magnus has kind of, I think he's been feigning a lot this whole time, which we realize by the end of the issue. And so he realizes he has to kind of make a move. So his astral form comes out and starts doing battle with Morgan, who says, "Now we can finally settle which of us is more powerful, the teacher or the student."
So a couple things. When we first see Jack strapped down to a table, he has grown a new shirt. That's a new power we didn't know about.
Yep.
A new blue shirt.
How about how he looks like the Hulk in that fourth
and
panel?
What is with his profile on the bottom left panel?
He's Joe Fixit.
He looks like Ega.
Yeah, he
or Joe Fixit. Yeah. God.
It's so bad.
Yeah. Some weird inconsistencies to characters in this. But, he looks like Mickey Rourke, right? Modern day Mickey Rourke.
Yeah, after plastic surgery, Mickey Rourke.
Yeah. So on the next page, we get kind of a classic astral battle. Any fans of Doctor Strange will have seen this type of thing before. The Morgan Le Fay we've seen this whole time is astral form, if we didn't mention that. And Magnus's astral form comes out and turns the whole room amber, and this kind of like small beam comes out, and she's like, "Is that the best you've got? Your inactivity has weakened you." And he's like, saying, no, my dear, that's a mistake. I was a beginning move, for the final attack. He was just kind of sizing her up and getting the lay of the land. And this big kind of magic showdown is going to start here in a second. And Spider-Woman's just watching, confused, as you would be.
As you definitely would be. Now, the art gets weird and scrunched on this page for me again.
Mm-hmm.
But you're right. That's something that's not, maybe it's an inking thing. Maybe Infantino's pencils were so rough that Bryant had to fill in so many details of the face, but that doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't.
I don't think Infantino's not. He's not a rough penciler. He's not. He's not Gil. No, he's not haphazard. He's not even Gil Kane in mid 70s, who's just so busy that he's just drawing circles and sticks. Like it's weird. Yeah, the art is really weird on this page.
Yeah, like, I mean, this upper right-hand panel here of Morgan Le Fay shooting a beam out, like, it almost looks like Howard Chaykin or something. Like, it's not bad. It's just, like, not consistent with what Infantino's been doing.
Yeah, but her face looks squished. It's like the, it's like
Dragon Lady from Terry and the Pirates or whatever.
A little bit. I thought she kind of looked like Louise from Bob's Burgers, her coochie copy that got melted and in the oven. And so I feel like a lot of the faces looked like that to me.
Yeah. Dakota North.
Okay, so our next page, Jerry Hunt finally arrives. I don't know if he took the bus or whatever, but he's finally there, and he busts in. And he's like, "It is you. I'd almost lost hope." And Jess is like, "You get out of here. It's too dangerous." But he's a man's man, so he says, "Not on your life, gorgeous. I've been hunting you for weeks. I'm not going to. What's going on?" His face of that just made me laugh. And again, we get a weird Joe Fixit profile.
It's like a stat of the previous profile.
It is a stat from the previous profile.
So he looks like a Cro-Mag.
What was going on with Infantino this month? Like, he's still good because he's Carmine. I don't think he can not be decent, but I feel like something was going on in his life this month.
Maybe the piles were acting up.
Maybe his piles were acting up. Yeah, I think that's what they called hemorrhoids. He's not a young man at this point. Maybe he's got the shingles. Who knows?
I don't see how that same guy drew the werewolf we've seen the entire issue up until he's unconscious.
I don't either. It doesn't make any sense. And you're right. That is a fucking stat from 2 pages ago.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, it's so weird. So yeah, Jess says, "I don't know if I could explain it to you, not to you and not even to me." She says, "Only thing I'm sure of is I've somehow got to help Magnus any way I can." And so Jess is again trying to shoot her venom blast, but these are astral forms, so that it doesn't really matter at all. Yet Morgan Le Fay's astral form suddenly can shoot fire, real fire. And she says there is more than one way to destroy Magnus. If I cannot destroy his magic, I can destroy his flesh. And she just burns him to death.
As he's tied to a chair with his soul out of his body.
She just burns his body into fucking dust.
I was on the fence about her, but now I don't like her at all.
Yeah. And you're like, maybe she's not a good person.
So yeah, Jessica sees this. She's like, "Magnus destroyed? My friend dead? No, I can't accept that. I refuse to believe that." And so she keeps trying to zap Morgan, which again is fruitless. And then Morgan tries to kill her with some magic, and it bounces off. She says, "What is this? A field of force?" Because that's how you would say force field in medieval times. How? And then she says, "Well, it doesn't matter. I've learned all I need to know from the Darkhold." So how did she glean Darkhold info from Jack? She didn't wipe his mind.
No,
or she's saying, "I've already read some of the Darkhold in the past."
I mean, maybe, but she did start to take his mind, Bentok the Mind Taker style. And so
she starts to weave a time casting spell, and she opens up a portal to the olden days, King Arthurian times, and she sees herself unconscious, where she's projected her astral form from way in the past, and says, "Once, I meld with my flesh self, we'll become one and we'll rule this entire century where magic's been completely forgotten. So there's no threat to me." She hasn't heard of Dr. Doom yet, but when she does, she'll be fucked, I'm sure. But she says, "Come," she's talking to her flesh husk. She's saying, come, touch me, Morgan. Let our flesh and soul merge once again. Let us be whole." And her physical self gets up from the bed and starts walking towards the portal. And and it's you, baby.
That's right. So on the next page, Morgan kind of so they're fighting. Jess is like, "No, damn it, I won't let you succeed. Magnus won't have died in vain." And Morgan just keeps calling her female, saying, "Female, you're becoming too much of a problem. I can no longer afford to waste time on you. You must die now. And suddenly she has real fire shooting from her eyes.
Which should be a blacklight poster.
It should really, that would be a really killer blacklight poster, actually. And so, yeah, but there's some kind of field of force around them. And so Jerry says, she still can't hurt us, but how are you doing it, gorgeous? Jessica says, I don't know. I haven't anything to do with it. And why do you keep calling me gorgeous? Why have you followed me here? Which I like that she's finally addressing that. Just like, what the fuck? Yeah. He's like, don't ask me to explain any of this, but when I saw you in London, something I didn't know was in me stirred. He's choosing a really weird time to get ultra creepy. Mm-hmm. He says, there's something about you, something that makes me feel I know you, something that makes me love you. But she has a great and proper reaction to this, which is, love? Are you crazy, man? You don't even know who or what I am. And then I thought it was a weird thing that he says. He says, look, complain to whoever set up my gene pattern.
Yeah, I didn't know if that was a foreshadowing of something.
Yeah, I know. I didn't get that. It just sounded really clunky. And he just says that, yeah, all I know is when I was recovering in the hospital, I realized that somehow you meant a hell of a lot to me. More than anyone I had ever known. I want to know you better. He's not coming off any less creepy. He's just being really fucking creepy and kind of a hindrance in this giant battle.
Yeah. There's a whole cottage industry of YouTube dating advice guys that are like him. Like,
oh, yeah?
Approach her and just, blah, blah, tell her this and, be forceful and blah, blah. It's like, yeah, this is the time. We're definitely in the be a forceful male time.
Yeah, he's the prince of persuasion.
Yeah. He's saying, well, providing we survive this, we can work it out. And she's like, well, she has this plan. He tells Jerry, distract her while I play out my hand. She yells, now, Jerry, watch out. And he charges and she says, oh, you've let down the field? Then you've prepared yourself for death. Your warning comes too late, female. And a beam comes out of her fingertip and melts Jerry like so much primordial goo. Your would-be lover is dead. And then Jessica's just like, that's 2 deaths I owe you for, Morgan. Like, whoa, okay. Just move it on. I'm extracting payment now. And she shoots a venom blast through the time portal into Arthurian time and venom blasts Morgan's physical form, which can be affected by venom blasts. She says, what? You're firing your damnable venom blast at my real self. No. And if you've read the earlier stuff, you know that her venom blast at close proximity can be lethal. And so Morgan Le Fay's physical form turns to dust and collapses. And Jessica says, haven't you heard that turnabout is fair play? Morgan says, no, my flesh is disintegrating. I'll destroy you for this, female. I swear I'll destroy you for this.
Oh, so great. I know. I thought that was an awesome plan of Jess's to yeah, there's a lot of body melting and incinerating in this issue.
A lot of body horror.
Yeah, a lot of body horror. And I like that Jess is not pulling punches. Like you said, she's had to say multiple times, like, oh, I have to kind of pull my punches with these venom blasts. So they just kind of slightly poison the person into falling asleep. But she can totally kill. And I guess she can totally just disintegrate people in the past. So that's pretty badass.
Well, I mean, it's a portal, right? So, I mean, it's like one of those Doctor Strange portals where it's just like, it's literally like you to me, just.
Yeah. But so cool. So the next page, I love. What a fucking cool page.
I know.
So it's just 2 panels. So the first is a little smaller than the second on top. And the first has Morgan Le Fay turning, like kind of turning to smoke and being sucked through that vortex that was the little portal to the past. And she's saying like, no, I'm being drawn back through the time hole. Damn you, Spider-Woman. You've created a vortex. Even I cannot escape. And yeah, she's just being like sucked through this as she's smoke. And then the next panel is so badass. It's huge. Like it takes up 2/3 of the page. And we see all the furniture in the room, like everything in the room being sucked through this portal, which I'm assuming is back to, our Arthurian times. And Jess is like kind of holding on to Jack and holding on to the table, just trying to keep them both in this reality from being sucked through this portal to the past. And yeah, God, what a cool fucking page.
Yeah, I love like in that top one that Jess's hair is kind of being hoovered towards the vortex, but
Mhm.
she's somehow stabilized. I don't quite understand how. I don't understand why the table that Jack is strapped to is not being sucked up with the rest of the mansion and all of its objects, but I'm not going to argue about that here. Yeah, it's like a very kind of like Looney Tunes weird, like, like Looney Tunes would get meta and like show the animators and like, Daffy Duck interacting with the eraser and that kind of thing. Like it's almost like that. Like it's just like the entire universe is acting against Morgan Le Fay now. And
it's really cool.
Returning her to where she's supposed to go and her magic, which is the most important.
I love it.
And then on the next page, cracoom, big, huge explosion caused by this probably time paradox that just happened. And we're left with, there's no mansion. There's no whatever. It's literally just green rolling hills. The table Jack is strapped to. Jack is a werewolf and Jessica. And everything else is gone. And then she hears off screen like, "Oh, you've done well, Jessica. You should be proud of yourself." And it's Magnus. And for some reason, at this point, both times I read this, I was like, this should have Sean Connery's voice. Like he should be Magnus. Like, "Oh, you've done well for yourself, Jessica."
Yeah.
Like Magnus, Jerry, that's right. Jerry's alive. He's standing next to Magnus. "I'm sorry I had to deceive you, my dear, but it was necessary to let Morgan think she destroyed us." So yeah, he's like basically saying like, she could never believe that he was more powerful than she was. So he just had to play on her ego. So he completely manipulated her that whole time. And he's like, "Oh," she's like, "You create that force field." He's like, "Of course, my dear. And I made it seem as if she reduced Mr. Hunt and I to ashes, but it was you who defeated Morgan. Quite ingeniously, I might add. I never would have thought it. Perhaps I'm getting old." But he says, I do know I've expended the vast majority of my powers. I thought this was cool. You get to talk about more about this on the next page, but like the concept of the economy and a finite magic thing. That's kind of a modern take on magic storytelling.
Yes, it is. It's something that was in a modern Doctor Strange run. Was that Jason Aaron and Chris Buckler that did that, to where Doctor Strange had? Oh my God, it's one of my favorite Doctor Strange runs. Yeah, but that whatever you give out, you have to take in. There's this balance kind of thing, and that things are finite. Yeah,
and so like to cast a spell, you need to essentially give something of yourself, which is self-sacrifice. I mean, it's where it almost gets like this like Catholic self-flagellation or something like that. Like it gives a really cool edge to it.
Yeah. So on the next page, so it's funny. So I'm going to talk about Magnus just kind of monologues on this page. He's like, "Oh, I've always believed in the concept of a finite degree of magic, having expended myself."
Do Connery.
Yeah, I'm not going to do Connery. You do Connery way better than I do. He says, "So much these past centuries I am reduced to, I suppose, little more than a common mage." And so he kind of keeps going on and on. And then, but he's in the background, and in the foreground, it's Jessica and Jerry, and they just are kind of embracing slowly. And then, Magnus is saying like, "However, I believe that I can go through life quite happily without being able to pull a hat full of rabbits out of thin air. Sorcery isn't all it's cracked up to be, my dear." And then he kind of turns around and realizes that Jessica and Jerry are just full on making out now. It's become like a romance comic. Yep. And I love the expression on his face is really great in that last panel, because he's been monologuing, like doing all this stuff. He's expecting that they're crying, like listening to all of his deep philosophical insights. And he looks over and they're just making out. And he's like, "Ah, fuck." Then he says,
grinding pelvises together.
And he says, "I see you have better things on your mind than a foolish old man. Good for you, girl. Good for you."
And so on the next page, he turns his attention away from the dry humping lovers, as one does. And he looks at Jack, strapped to a table unconscious. He's like, "You can't imagine the pleasure I feel knowing you are happy at long last. But now I think we best return to Mr. Russell, to his home. I am sorry an innocent person had to become involved in all this, but it was the only way I could prevent Morgan from totally getting out of hand." So he basically decides, put this guy through a lot. Let's just remove his memory of this and just send him home. It'd probably, be a lot easier on that way.
How convenient.
So yeah, he just removes the straps telekinetically, lifts Jack up in the air, and somehow magically sends him back to Colden House. And Jack's going to wake up and just think he was tied. He chained himself to the wall of his apartment, I guess.
Yep.
And the last panels, Hunt and Drew are still making out, and Magnus says, "And now, my dear, I think we should return home. Jessica? Jessica! Ah, the young. If only I was their age again." Next issue, Who Murdered Jonathan Drew? So this whole kind of mystical thing, Magnus is still around, but Morgan Le Fay and this magic storyline that kind of built up over the last few issues is done, I guess.
Yeah, I wonder if Marv was kind of prodded into going a different way, to where they were like, "We love that you did this for us, Marv, but yeah, maybe we should do something else."
I didn't realize until I read this masterwork that this is where the Brothers Grimm, so far they're just the Brother Grimm, made their first appearance, and they were primarily a Spider-Woman antagonist. I didn't know that.
That's right. I think that's in issues 3 and 4. The Brother Grimm shows up.
And Wolfman mentions in the intro, like I had fun playing with this because if you notice, Grimm has different accents depending on what he's doing and where he is, and that gets revealed later, which we now realize is they're two different people.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like that. I always like that character for some reason.
Yeah, me too.
Those characters.
Yeah, I don't know why, but yeah, I did as well. Well, Matt, what do you think? What are your final thoughts on this issue?
It's hard to say as far as like parsing it and pulling it apart from everything. I mean, I read 12, 13 issues of this stuff leading up to this, in the 2 days leading up to this. So it's kind of hard to separate it. But as far as a Jack Russell story, it's not great. I enjoyed the story as an issue. I appreciate why Jack was brought in because, as I said, I think that being exposed, having read the Darkhold, changed him and made him essentially a living text, even in a truncated kind of Southern California rich boy, whatever way. He's probably, forgotten a lot of it because he's been surfing and chasing girls and whatever. He's like Archie. But the Darkhold changes a man.
It does.
And he is a man now. I think he's probably like 20, He's
20, yeah.
He's still draft bait, but I think, I don't know.
Big hunk of draft bait.
I thought the art was cool, kind of inconsistent, but not in a negative way, just in a way that I had to kind of get my head around for the issue.
Agreed.
So I had a good time with it. It was a good ending to this little story that had been rising since Spider-Woman 2, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you call everything a saga. So the Excalibur Morgan Le Fay saga, good ending to that. I'm sure we'll never see her again. So that's all good and well. What'd you think?
Yeah, it was just like you said. I mean, as a issue of Spider-Woman, it's fun and goofy and kind of batshit, which is all stuff that's a good combo that we love for comics from 1978.
Yep.
And but yeah, as a Jack Russell, as a Werewolf by Night story, it is slight. It is slim. He is barely there. He's the narrator, thank God. If he wasn't the narrator, like this I think I would have been a little more angry if he hadn't have been the narrator.
I would have been a little frustrated.
Yeah, that would have been like,
lie.
Fuck, this is our first issue back. Like, God damn it. But no, and I agree with you. I mean, the art is a little inconsistent, but I loved I kind of dig the young buck Rick Bryant, inks over old workhouse, kind of like Carmine Infantino pencils. Like it's I'd like it. I thought it was a cool combo for the most part. On the pages that work, it's really cool. Again, it reminds me of Tom Palmer inking someone who's very like straight and clean line, and Tom Palmer comes and puts inks over it, and it's kind of like 15% messy, which makes it kind of cool and a little more modern looking. It's kind of like what we saw Tom Palmer doing ink-wise late 60s, early 70s. So, yeah.
Did he ink any of the original Werewolf stuff? I know. I feel like in my mind I'm inserting Tom Sutton, Werewolf by Night stuff like Tatterdemalion. Did we see Tom Palmer on anything in Werewolf by Night?
Is that who I'm thinking of? Am I totally mixing those two up? I might be.
It's just the way you're describing Palmer makes me think of Sutton. And I don't know if it's just me.
No, I'm probably mixing them up. Because that's what I do now.
Well, we're old.
Yeah, God. No, I think that I think on the whole, it's an entertaining issue. It's just not a great Werewolf by Night issue, but a super cool cover.
What if, I'm not saying this is the case, what if this is typical for these Werewolf by Night guest appearances? Are you okay with season 3 being this way?
Yeah, I mean, I know it is. I know this is our way to say goodbye to Jack Russell. And he just, he wasn't, I don't think he's ever really been taken very seriously. And so this is kind of what we have to deal with, especially late 70s to 1990. Yeah, it's going to be, I don't think any of these issues are going to be stellar, but yeah, I think I'm okay with it. I'm just glad that we're back to actual Werewolf by Night. It's important that we do this last season. So I'm okay with that. I think we're going to have a good time with it. I think we're going to have fun.
I know
we're
going to have a good time. That's not my concern at all. I just did want you to be expecting the Plug Conway era storytelling in any of these one shots,
No, I don't. But I'm fine with that. I mean, we're going to have a lot of great guests this season.
Yep.
We're going to have some returning guests. We're going to have some new guests.
Yep.
And it's going to be a really exciting season for guests. So that's gonna help.
Yeah, I mean, for me, this is kind of like a victory lap, just to go back to the character, just kind of celebrate. Again, like you said, some of these are going to be spotty. Some of them are going to be not great. Some of them are going to be fun. Yep. But it's a good way to say goodbye to the character before he heads off into the lava. And we rebrand and become Bronze Age monsters and talk about Damon Hellstrom and tons of other 70s crazy shit. So, yeah, I'm not expecting anything earth-shatteringly good. I just want to hang out with Jack a little bit. It's like the final episode. When they bring out all the old guests and we get to see some artists we haven't seen before draw him. We get to see some writers we haven't got to experience write him. And it's just it's an appendix to me essentially. But one where we can kind of spin out and have a little bit of fun. So
yeah,
I'm hoping no one's like, I wasn't a huge fan of the Spider-Woman issue, so I don't know if I want to hang out for season 3 because we're not hanging our hearts on this. Like this is going to be more of a lighthearted season, I think.
It's definitely going to be a lighthearted season, and yeah, even though we're not going to have anything as great as a Conway Plug issue, it's still going to be a lot of fun. You and I are going to have a lot of fun with it. This is our victory lap. This is high fives all around.
Yeah.
So I think I'm really excited we're doing this.
Yeah, it's the end of the show before we shut off our astral form and go up to the big cigar-shaped ship in the sky and go to New Earth.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's exciting.
Let's put on those Nikes. Those sweatsuits. Drink that Kool-Aid. Drink it.
Drink it.
So one of the fun things is that we have letters columns from different comics. So we'll be digging in and hopefully finding 6 months after Jack Russell appeared, let's find the letters column and see if they talked about him, which is always fun because, I like to snoop in people's underwear drawers. So here's one from Venom Blasts, issue number 9, I think. Dear Marvel, Spider-Woman number 6 couldn't have been better. I liked how Werewolf by Night was brought into the story. I've missed him since the demise of his own mag. Just one thing bothered me, though. When we last saw Jack Russell in Werewolf by Night number 43, he had found a way to control his transformations into the werewolf and retain his intelligence. Now suddenly Jack is back to his original predicament, a slave to the full moon 3 days a month. How do you explain it? Mark Deegan, Slayton, Texas. That's a good question.
It is a damn good question.
One
Mark.
I had. The response is with difficulty, as the saying goes. Seriously, Mark, what we have here is a time interval between the last issue of the Werewolf book, March 77, and his subsequent appearance in Spider-Woman number 6, September 78. Even after translating that into Marvel time, we have at least several months of Jack Russell's life unaccounted for. Obviously, something happened in that time to negate the self-control that the three who are all gave him in WBN 41. As for where this tale will be told, well, we're not sure yet. Just keep your eyes peeled on the Moon Knight series in the Hulk Color magazine, the new Satana book, and here in Spider-Woman, and the story's bound to appear. With Mighty Marvel, if you stay tuned long enough, we get around to explaining everything.
Okay.
Quasi satisfying, like
It's
we're aware.
not very satisfying, but I'll take it.
Yeah, I'm gonna do another one just because it's we're partying.
Okay.
Dear
let's do
people,
it.
Spider-Woman number 6 seemed to be a departure from the introspective stories we've seen in issues past. Having an all-battle issue was good for a change, but I hope you get back to the tone of the prior issues. I didn't see much purpose in guest starring Werewolf by Night. He really didn't do much except for be chained to a table. His relationship to the Darkhold was a pretty weak motive to get Jack Russell into the story. I mean, Morgan Le Fay could have been after any book of sorcery. Why the Darkhold? Granting the werewolf's presence, it was good to see him narrate the story. Besides being consistent with the convention established in Werewolf by Night, it also made him seem more important to the story. What are the chances of having Spider-Woman narrate one of her adventures in the future? In general, Marv, I like what you've been doing with this book. What could have been an exploitation of Spider-Man's name has turned out to be one of the best and unique books at Marvel. Jack Russell's description of her as silent, stalking, one with the shadows, and the references to her as the Dark Angel reminded me of the moody work of O'Neil Adams on a certain Dark Knight detective at the competition. But you have gone them one better with the addition of the alienation and inner turmoil on top of the Dead of Night atmosphere. Great stuff, group. Tom Opferman, Crestwood, Illinois. I totally agree with him, by the way. There was a turning here. Once she got her own book, Wolfman really turned on that alienation, the thing where she repels people by nature, making her isolated and lonely, was cool. And this issue and the issue prior, referring to her as a dark angel and a dark, that really kind of like, again, she's not Moon Knight, she's not Batman, but like, I noticed it and I appreciated it. I liked it. It's a cool change in direction.
Yeah, I liked it a lot. I mean, I think it makes her character really unique. And, Spider-Man, yeah, people don't like Spider-Man because he's a bum, and but there's this general repulsion when she walks into a room or she tries to rent a room or get a job, and people are like, oh, I feel like I'm going to throw up now that you came in the room. Because people are repulsed by spiders, and she's kind of an actual spider. So it's cool. I think that Wolfman did really cool things. Once Spider-Woman got her own book, I don't know about you, but I enjoyed reading these issues. I thought it was kind of fun.
I thought the path to her solo book was a little rocky, and everyone agrees, Wolfman and everybody else kind of understood that. But once she got here, I enjoyed it actually quite a bit.
Yeah, and I've listened to a few episodes of our friend Ray's Spider-Woman podcast, To Know Her Is to Fear Her. And I liked those, but now I'm going to go back and listen to all of them because I'm like, I want to hear more about this character. So yeah, everyone check out Ray, who does Into the Night, a Moon Knight podcast, also does a Spider-Woman podcast, which is called To Know Her Is to Fear Her, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's great, and all the podcasts he does are super great. So definitely check that out if you want to hear more about Jessica Drew.
So just to correct the record here. Wolfman was being ambitious and saying Jack would turn up in Moon Knight's Adventures and Rampaging Hulk or whatever. That never happened, right?
No, that never happened.
Okay. And not in Satana? I don't remember that at all.
Yeah, that's not on our list.
Okay.
But why don't you tell people where his next appearance is going to be?
Where is that?
That's why I asked you.
Well, I didn't read the response from Marv.
Sorry, you should read the response from Marv.
Thank you. Thanks for the good words, Tom. And the new team on Spider-Woman tends to keep her firmly ensconced in the modern Gothic motif you and a mansion load of others applaud. As for the guest shot of our nocturnal lycanthrope, it was probably inevitable seeing as how both characters are based in Los Angeles. And as any reader of the Modred, is it Modred? Modred
the Mystic.
And as any reader of the Modred the Mystic strip way back in Marvel Chillers will tell you, the Darkhold was indeed the most coveted book of magic back in the Arthurian days. So it only makes sense that Morgan Le Fay would be after that particular tome. Okay?
Okay.
I love when it ends like that. Okay?
Okay.
Huh?
You jackass.
You jag off.
Yeah. So, Matt, when is the next appearance of Werewolf by Night in Marvel continuity?
So Werewolf by Night was on the shelf until Spider-Woman number 19, which is a year later. Plus, year and change.
And that's what we're going to be covering on our next episode, right?
Yeah, that is. So this is the part of the show where we like to give shout outs to our Pack Brothers and Pack Sisters. And you can join them by going to patreon.com/werewolf by night podcast and joining us at the $5 a month level. As we said, you get plenty of bonus material for that. You get access to an audio version of our bonus, access to an audio version of our weekly bonus show, a video version of the show, access to the raw live feed of the show that we record, unedited, completely raw, totally raw. Raw. Like if I get up and go to the bathroom or something, raw.
Yeah, I did like I was just whistling nonsense while you were gone for a while. And then I was like, oh shit, yeah, we actually post live or unedited feeds now. So
my wife was recovering from a medical procedure. I went downstairs. I took care of her. I put Blazing Saddles on and Jacob sat here and whistled. Raw.
That's entertainment.
Raw. Yeah. And other bonus stuff. So, yeah, we like to thank those folks. These are fine folks like Michael G,
Tim Tucker,
Brian from Marvel by the Month,
Josh Link,
Mr. Jeff Fitzpatrick,
Caleb,
Ben M, the mixologist,
Michelle from Moonlit Comics,
Mark Nivens,
Rob Haferman,
Rush from Tomes of Evil,
Eric Hadley,
Brad Elmore of The Forest.
Of The Forest? Wow. Johnny Turner,
Mr. Jackson T. Overstreet,
Tony Iupi,
Jared C.
Brink,
Ryan from across the Bifrost,
Bill from Long Island,
and Mr. David D. Thank you all for supporting us at the Pack Brother, Pack Sister level. You make the show awesome. All right, so Jacob, people want to reach out to us. They want to email us. Where do they email us?
Well, they would email us at werewolfbynightpodcast@gmail.com. But what I'd really like is if someone would like to leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or whatever podcast platform. But, Apple, I'd like to see some more on there. And if you do that and you send us a screenshot of that, I will send you real buttons made from Werewolf by Night comic books. I'll send you a pack of those.
Yeah.
5 of them in a pack. I don't just skimp and do like 2 or 3. Like I do a whole card that has illustrations on it. That's 5 buttons that I've made with my 2 hands.
Sweaty little greasy hands.
My tiny hands.
Ask the Marvel by the Month guys. We came bearing gifts. Not only did we make cocktails, Jacob made buttons for everybody.
Yeah, I know. I kind of overdo it on stuff sometimes. And I'm a huge fan of the show. So I said to Matt, I was just like, look, I want to be the best guests they've ever had. So we're bringing
COVID tests before we went over to the Bastranics.
We did. We were basically the greatest people to ever live on this planet.
We kept it to ourselves, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did. We didn't even care. We didn't even want the glory, but we cared about their we cared about their safety. We cared about their safety. We cared about their alcohol levels in their bloodstream, and I gave them each packs of real Werewolf by Night buttons. Even Jamie, and he wasn't even fucking there.
He wasn't even there. Coward. All right. And also, we would love to hear from you at the voicemail line, 971-220-5865. That's 971-220-JUNK. Call us. Let us know what you're thinking about the new season. Let us know what you want us to cover when we become the Bronze Age monsters. Let us know what you're thinking about anything. Let us know about that weird, is that a bump? Should you have that checked out? Is that a mole or is that a wart? Call us. We might be able to help.
Oh, totally.
We're here. I make it a point of answering every question asked to me, even if I have no information. Because I'm just that great of a guy.
Yeah. And you have your answer, and at the end you're like, okay.
Okay. I'm Marv Wolfman. Okay.
Marv Wolfman, okay.
All right. So if you want to join us, the Pack Brothers and Sisters and the Moonbeast can join us on the bonus show, where we're going to be talking about the Spider-Woman animated series, Dracula's Revenge. Oh boy.
Yeah.
Yep. And but we're gonna laugh, right?
Oh, we're totally gonna laugh.
Let them laugh.
Let them laugh.
Yeah. Otherwise, we'll be back for Spider-Woman number 19 next week. What else do we need to tell them?
I don't know, man. I think that's it. I'm just so excited we're back recording again. It was nice to take a month off, as I'm sure it was nice for you to take a month off from diligently editing these episodes every week. But it's nice, right? It's nice to be talking again.
Yeah, I feel like I'm rusty. I had a week. I mean, 4 weeks off. Like that's I don't know. Weird. What's your name again?
Yeah, exactly.
Jonko.
Yeah.
Stimram.
Just call it, Jonko or Simram. I'll answer to both of them.
Right on.
But yeah, well, I guess I should also say, I mean, I'm sure most people listening know this, but I do have another podcast now. It's called On the Funny that I do with my friend Chris Matheson. We talk about high points in the history of comedy. The first season, we're talking about the On Cinema universe of Tim Heidecker and Greg Turkington, which I know is obscure, but if you haven't checked it out, I highly recommend it because we think it's some of the greatest things that have ever happened in the history of comedy. My co-host especially is obsessed with it. And yeah, so we're doing that and we're having a really good time doing it. And people are starting to check out the show. So I'm really appreciative of that. Yeah,
everyone should check it out. It's awesome. I've been listening as you've been recording them before they've been released. And it's great stuff. And you need to throw something up on Patreon.
Yeah, I know. We're getting there for sure.
Well, I mean, throw up a link on the
oh yes, for sure.
Page.
Yeah, definitely. That's a great idea.
Because some people don't use social media, so there's some folks who listen to the show who don't go on Instagram or Twitter. So
that's right. No, that's a great idea. No, it's been really fun. And Matt, you're going to be on an episode in like 2 weeks.
I feel like I already have been.
Yeah, you have been on, but it's going to be released in 2 weeks.
Oh, good.
So, yeah.
Good.
No, I'm very, very excited for people to hear that. We had a great time talking.
No, I had a great time with that. I'll post a link also in the show notes.
Awesome.
So, yeah, if you want to find that, just go in the show notes and you can find the first episode, which is kind of the mission statement, right?
Yeah, well, the first 3 episodes are up now. We got our introduction, then the second episode, we talk about the On Cinema podcast season, and the third episode, we talk about the first season of On Cinema at the Cinema and the first Oscar special. So
right on.
We're running.
Cool. All right. Well, you can join us on the bonus show if you're a member. Otherwise, we will talk to you next week for Spider-Woman number 19. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us this week. Till we meet again beneath the full moon, furry ones, here's howling at ya.